It has become a tradition at this point that every August 10th, I get to speak with the host of the True Long Island Story, the Major Land podcast, the Major Figure podcast. He's on the verge of selling out Kowloon for the third year in a row. Tickets you can get right now at majorwfpod.com. He is the $1,000 broski, the Michael Jordan of wrestling figure collecting. He is the first independent wrestler since the 1980s to be on the cover of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. He is the Indy God, and he is half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. He is Matt Cardona. How are you, sir?
I'm good. What an intro. Thank you very much.
Hey, I'm happy to be graced by the presence of the Indy God. I mean, that's where I'm at
I'm
right
glad
now.
to be here.
So with Sonya Deville injured, unfortunately, does this mean you jump in and you help Chelsea Green defend the tag team titles under Freebird rules?
Yeah, I don't know the deal with that. I mean, I am a free agent. I am the agent. So if WWE needs me on Monday Night Raw to help Chelsea with those titles, I'm available.
I mean, you have made appearances with a women's tag team championship, as I use my quotation fingers on that one. So
Well, I brought it to DDT in Japan and the internet got talking, so I did my job.
that's what you do, though, Matt. Ever since you've become the Indie God and the King of the Death Match, you keep that internet talking, and that's probably like life after WWE. Like you're probably thinking, like, oh, what am I going to do next? And you have turned yourself into not only a successful businessman, a successful pro wrestler. You've just done all these great things, and it's really a credit to you for going that and transitioning. And it gets me to the transition here, which is for the third summer in a row, you're doing your live show at Kowloon. The first two were outstanding. You can go to majorwfpod.com to get VIP tickets for $100 or a general admission ticket for $35. With a VIP ticket, you're going to get admission to the event, a meet and greet with Brian, Matt, and Mark, a print, a pin, an exclusive card, and a mystery gift. This is all happening on Sunday, August 20th at 3 p.m. at Kowloon. Last year's surprise guests were John Cena Sr., although he's kind of a regular at Kowloon. So it's like if you don't see John Cena Sr. at Kowloon, like you've missed some sort of an experience. Eddie Edwards, Ricky Starks. My biggest moment was the fact that you got Andy Wong up on stage. That's impressive.
You know what? That was a spur of the moment deal. Ricky Starks had some travel issues, and the show, not only is it live for the people there, but it streams live, on the Premier Streaming Network. So we can't just not do anything. So luckily, Andy's a pro. We called him on stage, and he told some stories until Ricky got there, and the fans loved it because Kowloon and Andy. It's such a huge part of wrestling history, and I don't think fans necessarily know that. It's more of like the boys, who go and deal with Andy and all the hospitality and all the staff and crew. And, we love it there. It's, I say it's like, in Japan, if you go to Ribera Steakhouse, like that's the place to go. I think if you're in the Northeast area, you got to go to Kowloon. So we're honored to do the show there. They keep saying they're shutting it down, but every year it's still open. So we're going to keep doing these live shows until the doors are closed. We absolutely love it. And we do these afternoon shows at Kowloon because, typically we do them at night, but at Kowloon, they have the bar outside,
outdoor patio,
the outdoor patio. So we do the show afternoon. We do our little meet and greet VIP, and then we go outside. We drink with all the fans, and we party with the fans. So it's not just it's like an hour and a half show, but it's the whole night. We're out there. We're drinking those major Mai Tais with everybody outside, and it's the past 2 years. I'm sure it's gonna happen this time. I get a little tipsy and I spill the beans on upcoming Major Bendy's lineups, to the fans. So it's going to be a good time. And tickets are just about sold out. I have no doubt they'll be sold out by the day of the show. So get them now, majorwfpod.com.
I'm great friends with Andy. Andy is one of my best friends. So it's nice to see him in a comfortable environment. You got him up on stage. You got him telling stories. We got to get him a little bit looser, but he's in such like business mode all the time when he's there.
Yeah.
So like I've been fortunate. I've traveled with him and I've seen him with his hair down, and so we got to get him out on the patio and get a few Mai Tais in him so he can like relax and enjoy and party with the fans. If you pressure him enough, he'll eventually do it, I think. Yeah. So this might be a goal for the outdoor patio.
Yeah, we're so excited. I've been going to Kowloon since 2007. So over a decade, almost 2 decades. I love it. I might have told the story before that there is one time I had Kowloon 3 times in 24 hours. I went before Raw, like the night before. So it's like a Sunday night I went. Then I went for lunch before Raw, and then I went for like a late dinner after Raw. So 3 times in 24 hours. That's how much I love it.
There was a great story you told at last year's show about how the Edgeheads were created at Kowloon in the men's room of the Kowloon.
That's actually true. That I wouldn't say they were created there, but that's when Edge pulled us aside into the bathroom and let us know, hey, we're gonna go ahead with this idea. Because it was Brian Myers, Kurt Hawkins, and I idea to be the Edgeheads, to be the two guys that look like Edge and help him win the world title. And he confirmed that it was going to happen in the men's room downstairs in Kowloon. So it's a historic place.
It's a historic place. Is there anything you can officially announce for the show? Is there a guest you can announce? Is there a giveaway or an announcement or a figure reveal that you can announce in advance?
Yeah, we're definitely going to do figure reveals. We're not going to announce here. There's going to be surprise guests. That's how we operate. We don't like to advertise anybody. We've tried it here and there. We advertise a name or two, but I think it's better when it's almost like Royal Rumble style, like whose music's going to hit. The fans really like that. We do have a giveaway. Courtesy of Cardillo. They have this awesome weight belt because we have the major fitness challenge for our fans who want to get there, whether they want to stay in shape, get in shape, whatever it is, and it's never too late to start. If you use the hashtag major fitness challenge and hashtag live17, and if you're coming to the show, you'll be eligible to win this weight belt. And it's not like who lost the most weight or who got the most jacked. It's anyone who tries, we're going to put into, a randomizer and pick a name. So if you use those hashtags, if you're trying to better yourself, and if you're coming to the show, you'll be eligible to win a Cardillo weight belt.
And I believe
it's got a Kowloon logo on it, the major pod. Yeah, it's all exclusive. It's not just a generic belt. Of course not.
That's the cool thing about it.
It's a one of one.
It's a one of one, and that's the coolest thing about it. And you're a big one of one collector. Our buddy Joe Murray, who about 2 years ago started his figure collection, based in part because of your podcast. You've met Joe. You've talked to Joe. He's a Hasbro guy, and he wanted me to ask you: is there a Hasbro that you've heard about but you've never actually seen?
Yeah, I mean, for years there's the final set. They're called the orange cards. It was always rumored to have like Diesel and Jeff Jarrett. And over the years, they've popped up, not the actual figure, but the drawings or the heads. So I have the Diesel drawing and the head. But if there's like a hand painted prototype out there, man, I would love to see it. But nowadays it's so easy to with all those great customizers out there and all these like small independent companies, myself included, making things. It's so much easier now to kind of fool the people, but I think I'd be able to tell if it was the real deal or not.
You did a tour on your YouTube video because I went down your rabbit hole of YouTube videos. I've done this a couple of times, and you have figures that you weren't sure of, but you felt like you needed to purchase because you needed to have it. And I've also seen where you have displayed some of figures that never made it out. So for you, who's such like an in-depth historian of it, like how deep do you go to make sure that you know every little detail, whether this LJN is a variant or this is a fake, or how deep do you go into the history of it?
Yeah, especially with like LJNs, back in the day, a lot of the variants are not true variants. It's just they were making so many in different factories, and like, Jesse Ventura's mustache is brown here and it's blonde here. That wasn't like by design. It's just the paint they used, So some of those things aren't quite variants, but it's fun to collect because once you have a line completed, especially a line that's over, it ended in 1989. I think people make up their own variants and rules to keep collecting. So I get it. I'm guilty of it.
Rowdy Piper's kilt is actually maroon and not red in this.
Well, yes, there's the maroon boots, the red boots, and there's like 3 different versions, I think, of the kilt. I think it was just different fabric they used. They weren't trying to do it deliberately. Some of that stuff I just can't count. Like, okay, for instance, Special Delivery Jones, there's one in a Hawaiian shirt and one in a red shirt. That's clearly a variant. That was clearly done on purpose for some reason. The Piper maroon boots into red boots, not sure.
So in going down your rabbit hole, I saw a video of you and Brian Myers going to toy stores, and you purchased a figure that was the Big Boss Man.
Okay. Yep.
and you paid $5,500 for it.
Yeah.
Is that the most you've ever spent on a figure?
No, and I bought that figure to flip it.
Oh,
So
okay.
back in the day, before, now when figures are designed, it's all computerized. It's all computerized. Back in the day, they had to make something called a two up, and it was literally like a model double the size of the figure, and that's how they would get all the paint detailing down, and they would figure out how it would look, and then they would scale it down. So this big boss man was the two up, the pre-production sample. I bought it. I don't know if you saw the whole video, and I don't know what we included in the video, but
I watched the whole video, Matt, and there was like this, they put a timer on it. It's like it took you 20 minutes to get
uh
to that remark. There
so
was
I
the
don't
whole
remember.
negotiation,
Yeah.
and it was like to like howdy or to somebody, and then the signature on the back. And you guys
Yes.
got him down from like 10,000 to the Brian Myers suggestion of 5,500.
Yeah, the if I don't know if it was shown in the video, but the seller, he kind of guilted me into it, saying he needed the money to go on a Disney World trip with his
Yes,
family.
he
Is that in the
did. That
video?
was in there. Yes, that
Okay,
was in
so
there.
that hit me hard. So I just did it, and I ended up reselling it. But that is not the most I've spent on a figure, unfortunately. Not
What?
even the most I've ever spent on one particular figure.
Yeah.
I spent $11,000 on a Kamala, Hasbro Kamala. Now this is how crazy we're getting here. It was released with a star painted on his stomach, but there was like a couple with the correct moon on the stomach.
Okay.
So I have the moon belly Kamala, it's referred to as.
So that's got to be at this point a 1 of 1 or a 1 of 10, or it's got to be such a
That's another thing. I think it might be a one of 12.
okay.
Where no one knows for sure. It's definitely not a one of one because I've seen others out there. There's also a lot of fakes out there. So you got to be very, very careful with
How
this
do you
stuff.
authenticate that one though? Like, is
And
there a number on the
that,
tights, or is
that
that
that's even crazier because there is a toy grading company, and this is the reason why I don't trust these toy grading companies. Somebody, and I think it still might be on eBay if you search. There is a graded Moonbelly Kamala on eBay, or at least it was there, and it's clearly a fake. But the grading company graded it as real. So if it could fool a toy grading company, it's really easy to fool, just someone who doesn't do their research. But luckily, mine's real. It's not graded, and it's not even that I'm a huge fan of Kamala. It's just I needed it for my
you
collection.
needed? Yeah. I just find it I find it fascinating because all these trading card companies, toy grading companies, like it's almost like they're just stamping it just to take your $10, your $20, your $50, because like I have this belief that if I don't see somebody sign it, like over my shoulder, I've got like the Matt Cardona figure from
I see that.
the standee, and it's signed by you. I watched you sign it.
Yeah,
Right. That was from last year's Kowloon appearance. I've got a whole bunch of other merchandise. But generally speaking, every piece of merchandise I own, I've seen the person sign it,
right.
or it's been signed by somebody, it's got a certificate from AEW or WWE or
Yeah,
ECW or something like that. But like these authentication companies, they just want to take your $10, or some of them, it's a percentage of what the value of the item is. Have you heard about this?
yeah. So like, listen, there's certain things like trading cards. I am into graded trading cards, but I won't collect like a card that's not graded. I just won't do it. I need it to be graded. But like I feel like a card, okay, there's four sides. You could tell if it's like, the corners are messed up. You could tell if it's centered or not. With an action figure, there's so many variables. Like there's the actual figure, there's the carding, there's the bubble. It's like, that's why I just don't trust the grading necessarily on an action figure. I think a card is more cut and dry, but yeah, it's getting out now. They're grading VHSs, video game. I have right here. Look at this. I got a Hulk Hogan WrestleMania video game graded right here. A plus 9.6. Like, what makes it a 9.6 as opposed to a 9.7? Right? Like,
What? Wow. And it's in mint condition?
yeah,
Is that from the
unopened.
original Cardona collection as a child?
No, this is still sealed. I actually bought it graded. I
Okay.
bought it graded because here's the thing too. It's like I wouldn't want to spend my money on an item, then spend my money to grade it, and then it comes back with a low grade.
Got it. Makes
I'd
sense.
rather spend even more money and guarantee a good grade. You know what I'm saying?
I totally get it, and it's one of those things we've talked about in the past. Like, you have to collect something that you're gonna love, like
Right.
and that's why I think, like, you started. This is my interpretation of, you're such a figures collector, that it inspired you to create your own business with the Major Bendies and the Big Rubber Guys series. And you got me on a few purchases. I got the Demolition pre-order of the Big Rubber Guys.
Oh,
I got
thanks.
the Ric Flair's last match Bendy. But that fandom, I assume, inspired you to do your own figure company.
Yeah, I mean, even to pull the curtain back a little more, like at first we just started a podcast to talk about our fandom of figures, and I didn't even, I definitely didn't foresee doing live shows. Like we're doing at Kowloon. I didn't foresee merchandise. Certainly didn't foresee creating our own toy line. Just things kind of just snowballed to the point where we tried the Major Bendies, and now that was successful. So we do the Big Rubber Guys. I mean, who knows where we're going to be next year, or 2 years, 5 years. I mean, we've been doing the podcast for 5 years. This will be our 5-year anniversary, which is pretty crazy. And like I said, we just started it to talk about toys. We didn't see it as a business, but it's turned into a real business. I mean, the Major Wrestling for Your podcast as a business makes more money than Matt Cardona and Brian Myers as wrestlers combined. So it's got to take it on a life of its own.
Oh, that's great. That's tremendous that you have so many of these revenue streams coming to you. What's your if you can share it, because I know not everybody wants to share their chases, but what's your current figure chase if you have one?
Honestly, this is going to sound horrible to say. I have everything I need, really.
Oh, okay.
I had, I'm like, unless like that diesel I was talking about
Sure.
that pops up. Fortunately, I have everything I need. Now it's like just like newer stuff, like the stuff that comes out, or I always go into like the vintage toy stores in the local areas, and I find something obscure that I want, or I somehow convince myself that I need something. And I always do it at the worst time. Like, for instance, the American Gladiators documentary on Netflix. I had those figures as a kid. I'm like, oh, it'd be cool to get those figures. Well, if I would have decided that 6 months ago, I could have got them for pennies. But now, because everyone wants them, spending double, triple, quadruple the price, I just did the same thing with these 1993 Kenner Jurassic Parks. Of course, it's the 30th anniversary. They're hot. Everyone's trying to buy them up. But like, oh yeah, maybe I'll buy them now when it's the hottest time to buy them. It's just not smart. But that's what happens. And nostalgia kicks in, and nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
Nostalgia got me to buy the Mega Power set because I saw
there you
you
go.
do the unboxing, and I'm
Yeah.
tempted too because I saw you recently did the unboxing for the 1991 Undertaker and the Gobbledygooker. And
Man, that's
the fact that
I'm
the
looking at it right
egg
now.
came,
It's incredible. Yeah, it's
the
great.
fact
I'm
that
looking
the
at it right
egg
now.
came in
Yeah.
its own package was outstanding.
Yeah, I was not expecting the egg, and then yeah, you can have the gooker hatching from the egg. It's wild, and that's definitely proof to me that these things are not okay. Yes, they're toys, but these aren't made for kids. No kid
No,
wants
they're
the
not.
gobbledygooker. This is for
Nope.
late 30s, early 40s, maybe even older adults who want this stuff, who want to relive their childhood.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, I'm 42 and I'm just like trying to like make up for things that I couldn't have gotten when I was 7 at
Right,
different
for
points
sure,
in times.
absolutely.
And so like the gobbledygooker, it probably should have come with Mean Gene, but it also, I like the fact that it had the WrestleMania 17 head as well as an
Yeah, it's
interchangeable
got
thing. That's like a little
interchangeable
detail there.
heads. Yeah, it would have been
Eh,
great with the Mean Gene. But on the back of the package, it does show him and Mean Gene doing the little dance. So if you have a Mean Gene figure, you could reenact that.
So what in your mind do you have left to do? What are some of kind of your goals going forward for wrestling or for life or for business?
Oh wow! Well, I definitely want to grow this Major Bendy's line and the Big Rubber Guys line. Like you said, we just did Demolition, and then right now, if you go to majorpodmerch.com, you can pre-order the Series 3 of Big Rubber Guys, which is Sergeant Slaughter, Ric Flair, and
Marty
Marty
Jannetty.
Jannetty. So I would love to continue to grow that. Wrestling wise, like, listen, I'm the Indy God, but it wasn't my dream to be an independent wrestler. It wasn't my dream to be a pro wrestler. It was my dream to be a WWE superstar. But I don't want to go back just to go back, just to be on the roster. So if I get a 203 area code call me, of course I'll pick up and have a conversation. I feel like I'm in the prime of my career. I've been wrestling for it's my 20th year, but I'm only 38. And I really feel like I'm just getting started. Like my body, yes, I'm in pain. It hurts walking down the steps and stuff like that. But when I'm in the ring, I don't feel like I'm limited. I don't feel like I've missed a beat. I don't feel like I'm slowing down. So my body feels healthy enough to keep going for, I would say, at least another 10 years. And you look at guys like Chris Jericho, who are doing it at the highest of levels, even a guy like Sting or like Dustin Rhodes is moving like it's 1991. So those guys, man, what an inspiration.
Yeah, I wish for your success going forward, and you've got a few events coming up. One is you get to do this from your couch or from your office. Is you're doing a whatnot auction. Tonight you'll be on your personal whatnot account. It's at the Matt Cardona at 8 p.m. You'll be doing an auction with your major wrestling figures, limited merchandise, exclusive merchandise, rare
Yeah,
merchandise.
actually, yesterday I spent the whole day 5 years of merchandise. It was so unorganized. I organized everything, categorized it, and I realized, okay, I'm missing some things. I'm missing some of my own merchandise, but also I have doubles or triples of certain things. So I'm going to put them up for auction tonight. Everything starts at 99 cents, 30-second auctions. It gets pretty intense over on Whatnot. And then this weekend I'll be at PowerCon. It's in, I believe it's in Ohio. I should probably know where it is. I'm leaving tomorrow. Just 3 days of meeting and greeting. It's going to be great. But next week it's the main event of the summer for me. I have 3 back banger shows. I have House of Glory in New York next Friday against Tanahashi. The next day, GCW Homecoming. 2 years in the making, myself and Steph Delander against Nick Gage and Maki. And then if I survive that, I got to make it a Saugus for Live 17 at Kowloon. So it's going to be very, very exhausting, but very, very fun.
So GCW didn't release you then. They haven't come. They haven't wished you well in your future endeavors.
I don't know what's going on. Brett Lauderdale, he's not responding to my text. He hasn't booked my travel. So I mean, I'm the main event of the show, so he's got to figure something out.
So what's this other thing with MLW and Mance Warner? What's his problem?
Listen, I'm like I said, I'm the agent. I can wrestle anywhere at any time. MLW wanted to use my services. I gave them my price. They accepted. So I'll go anywhere. And Mance is just, he's in the wrong place at the wrong time. He just is the first opponent for me. Nothing personal against Mance. I think he's great. I think he's a hell of a talent. But I'm not coming to MLW to lose. Certainly not my first night in the company. So, Mance, I mean, sorry, pal, it's just not about you. And you're going to kiss my foot because for some reason it's a kiss my foot match. But hey, it's fine with me. I'm not kissing his foot.
Yeah, I assume you're going to be studying the Bret Hart, Jerry Lawler, Kiss My Foot vignettes. And Matt Cardona, it's the 3rd summer in a row that you're doing your live show at Kowloon. This event will sell out. You can go to majorwfpod.com to get VIP tickets for $100 or a general admission ticket for $35. The VIP gets you admission to the event, the meet and greet with Brian, Matt, Mark, a print, a pin, an exclusive card, a mystery gift. There are going to be mystery guests. This is the event to go to. I know I've been to these events. They're fun. Matt Cardona, thank you so much for your time today, and continued success going forward. And I'll see you at Kowloon on Sunday, August the 20th at 3:00.
Thanks for having me. I'll see you there.